So Gachiakuta has very quickly become one of my top 5 favorite animes. I've watched this anime literally 20 times plus by now, and I continue to rewatch it. I rewatch it once a week at least. Not only do I love the characters, but the voice acting, like, I'd argue it's better in dub than sub because of Zeno alone, and I'm a sub watcher in anime, so I don't say that often. But everything, the plot, vital instruments, all of it. The two things I love the most, though, are the feel and the art style of the anime. The modern day slang like what's the tea and lock the hell in and everything else feels real and modern and human. So just big shout out to Kei Arana for making this anime and for making it so amazing that it demands to be added to your favorites. For real, I could talk about this anime all damn day, but we're not here to talk about the anime itself, but what it inspired in me. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mellow Otter, aka Cat Savvy, and I am a self-taught artist who has been working on my craft for 24 years to be able to develop a stylized anime sort of looking art style. I have always loved manga and anime and the look and feel of anime art, and so when I first started with my little blobs and doodles that definitely were not coherent at 2 and 3 years old, my family supported that instead of trying to divert me into something else. And so I spent 24 years of my life, I'm 26 now, but I spent 24 years of my life just honing my craft and studying other art styles, studying anatomy, studying realism, anything that I could possibly study that would help my art style get better and more polished and bloom. I have been looking at, and I'm just so proud of my journey and where I'm at now. Okay, yap over. But as a self-taught artist who transitioned from traditional 2D drawing to digital art in 2021, my art has gone through so many changes and forms that I've just never had a definitive style. And this has always bothered me, to be honest, because when I think about how I've wanted my art style to really look and feel in the long run, I think about Gachiakuta. My art has tended to be more rounded and cutesy, and that's fine, but I can't quite put my hands on it. Like the grunge textured look, the street style vibes, the not quite deeply shaded but definitely not flat rendering, and the sharp definitive line art with like bold and stable lines. These are all the things I've been trying to capture for myself for years. So after watching the anime for, I don't even know, like the 10th to the 15th time, one of those times, I was thinking about what kind of person I'd be and what kind of vital instrument I'd have if I was in the anime and an original character was born. And I'm like, okay, this is the perfect place to study and practice my ideal art style. And I blew my own mind with this. I can't even lie. I'm just so happy with how she came out. The first thing I really wanted to nail down was her clothes. Because Gachiakuta, I'm going to talk about the anime without spoilers, because if you're watching this, you're probably watching because you know about the anime, but just in case there's anybody that's been wanting to watch it and they haven't gotten the chance to, Gachiakuta has a theme of someone's trash being someone else's treasure, right? And so the clothing has this upcycled style that's still full of unique character design, and it's really, I haven't seen many clothing designs like this anime. The main characters, called cleaners, are groundlings that are people that have survived in what's called the pit, that was created by wasteful people who live in this higher city called the sphere. And the cleaners fight back against these beings manifested from the trash they live around called trash beasts. I know, it's a lot to absorb, but it's so sick, so just stick with me. So I knew I wanted my OC to be a cleaner, and I needed the logo on her clothes, but I wanted this combination of this oversized animal hoodie concept, like a character called Gita, and her hooded onesie, and oversized sleeves, kind of like this character called Tamsi, and a crop top like this character called Rio, and this oversized like jogger pants like one of my favorite characters named Semiyu. So I went like, okay, heck it, why can't I have all of those things? And it took several attempts at building something coherent until it finally blended. So her cropped hoodie is segmented, and it's supposed to look like this patched together hoodie that has been brought together from a whole bunch of different materials. So the top of her hoodie is a black hood with cat ears that connects to these sort of suspenders, and I love this part of her outfit so much. It's like one of the most unique things I've made for a character to date. I love drawing it every single time. But outside of that, I wanted her crop top to still be visible, so I decided to go with this sort of like clear raincoat material there with some solid material on her back, just in case the hood comes up and you get to see the cleaner logo on her back. And I love this too because I wanted to create a material that doesn't look permeable, and I don't mean to toot my own keyboard or anything, but I think I did a really good job at it, and I get better every single time I do it, so it's always fun to do. And it's really complicated to have something look like it's clear but not see-through and still translucent. I love it. I love the difficulty that comes with it. For her sleeves, I knew I wanted them to be oversized, but I also wanted this look of being patchwork without being patchwork. I wanted it to look like there were different pieces of other hoodies that were put together to form this hoodie, and not like it was one hoodie originally that was like cut up and broken up into pieces, if that makes sense. I wanted it to look like it was patchwork together. But when I first started with stitches, it started to look weird because the rest of her outfit is like sleek, even though it's upcycled and it has that grunge feel of the anime. There weren't any stitches anywhere else. There weren't any patches or cut cloth anywhere. So it felt weird to just have this one random area have these like rough, hard cut stitches, and then everything else looked sleek. So I was like, okay, let's keep this suspender or like belt buckle sort of motif going so that it matches and aligns with the hood. And so I used one of the suspenders as the connector between her right sleeve and the top of the hood. And I love it because this makes it look like the sleeve wasn't matching up in terms of the length with the left sleeve, but it was still the perfect material. So August is the cleaner's clothing designer, by the way, was like, we'll just make this work, right? And so I decided to give the sleeves some straps hanging off as well, because I think this adds some flair and keeps the consistency of the suspender motif, and it like gives her the option to put the sleeves up and expose her arms if she wants to do that. So I just love how the hood looks restrictive but not. It looks like she has the option of freeing herself from the oversized hood and just, exposing more skin if she wants to, or she can keep the oversized look and keep that cover over herself if she wants to, and it's still exposing all of the parts of the design that I wanted to expose without being way too out there, or way too restrictive. But from there, the rest of her fit is pretty chill. She has some oversized jogger pants, kind of like Semiyu, but they're still tailored to her, and they're like scrunched instead of Semiyu's big oversized waist belt or waistline of her pants. And she has a patch that's fur lined going down her right leg that's matching with the fur lining of her hood. She has some black combat boots with silver guards on the front, and that vacuum tube that some of the cleaners have attached to their satchels or outfits. I really like that as an accessory, but I didn't want to have her have a whole bag, so I just have it by itself attached to her hood and her sleeve. So chill on me, I just really like the tube. So with explaining the intention of her outfit done, it's time to get into the OC herself and her design. I feel like her lore really captures her design, so I'll do my best to explain it without any spoilers to the anime for anyone who hasn't seen it yet again. But it's also something I'm still fleshing out, so there might be some parts that are subject to change. Okay, so this is Aqua, spelled A-H-Q-U-A. She's 26 years old and is a groundling who lived in a city called Canvas Town, a city for artists and artistic minds alike, before becoming a cleaner. Aqua was born to an artistic mom and a gaming father under the most unfortunate circumstances, as her mother went into stress-induced labor and gave birth to her in a polluted zone, while her father protected her and her brother from trash beasts until they were saved by the cleaners. Her mother unfortunately died from blood loss and weakness after sacrificing herself to buy them time. But when they were saved, however, her brother was nowhere to be found. So from that point, her father made it a point to show Aqua the beauty of both his and his late wife's passions, and he encouraged for her to find her style, letting her experiment with bold colors, and that's why there's a whole bunch of neons and gaming sort of colors going on there, but letting her experiment with bold colors, fashion choices, and just looks in general as a young child. He showed her all the drawings her mom made alongside the art-based games and games with cool art styles, and they were hooked on that as a family. One of the coolest games was a fighting game, kind of like Soul Calibur 4, that her father and her brother would play constantly. And she grew to love this game also and fall in love with gaming in general. I mean, art is cool and all to her, and she loved living in Canvas Town, but gaming is where she felt the most alive. So she mastered gaming to the point that when she was a teenager, she learned how to mod her controller and fix it all on her own when it would drift or break. She found out she was a giver when Job, the then leader of Canvas Town, asked her about her sick controller, and it transformed when she pushed a button. Job immediately connected Aqua with Engine, a cleaner who saves the main character, who is a spherite, in the anime, and the rest is history. Now, at 26, and after becoming Engine's girlfriend some years ago, Aqua is now a cleaner who continues to mod and take care of her controller. Each of its buttons has its own sick function for both attacking and defense, in the same way her favorite game did, although each mode can only be activated for up to 2 minutes at a time before another mode has to be swapped in, so she's still figuring that part out. As she continues to take on trash beasts and explore zones with her team, she vows to find her long-lost brother, whose face she's only seen in photos. Maybe he's still out there, somewhere living his own life with people who might have saved him, too, and she owes it to her family to find that out for herself. I'm still working on the lore. Some things are subject to change, but I do hope this encompasses her look well. And it's because of her individuality, her gaming background, and her artistic expression that I wanted her to have bold colors that stood out against the weathered neutrals of the outfit. There were no better choices than neon for that, and I feel like it spoke to the bright colors that gamers have come to really know in our games, And I loved creating her textured look with the line art, and I feel like it follows that Gachiakuta feel really well while still being me. I love the pattern of her hair so much, and the jagged highlights, because that is something that I have never done before drawing this character. I always had this rounded highlight and this careful application of my highlights, and I just used the lasso tool there and made it uneven on purpose. I also love her jewelry and her accessories. I love that her bead on her hair matches the two of her piercings for the color consistency, and I love her rings on her fingers. I love her so much. I love this character. I love her bad. Side note also, one thing I will say is that I really, really love the way that Kay makes water lines for the character's eyes. This was something I never considered doing for my drawings before watching this anime, but now I can't stop doing it because my drawings don't feel the same without them. You know how you come across that thing that you just have to add to your drawings and you can't see your drawings the same without that thing? Water lines are my thing now, and it's all thanks to Kay. So thank you. Shout out to Kay. Creating Aqua really taught me so much about the gaps in my art style before drawing her versus after. I learn with each drawing I do, but I was both overcomplicating things for myself and simplifying things at the same time. I would make my art too smooth, too rounded, too clean, too polished, and try to make it perfect. But this resulted in a cozy cutesy style that I wasn't quite going for. I'd make sure there was no corner unrendered, unsmudged, unhighlighted, or unshadowed. This made its own cool art, don't get me wrong. I absolutely will keep this style for other projects, but making Aqua showed me how to keep my line art sharp and decisive while being imperfect. I didn't need a whole bunch of different line weights for the line art. I think I used 3, 4 at the most, and it showed me that using a textured brush for the line art really does take your drawing so far in terms of the look. And it makes the whole thing pop. I love using the lasso tool to make her highlights, and because it was uneven and unperfect, and it was the complete opposite of how I'd been doing my art so far. You can see me struggling with the controller cord too, because oh my god, it was so difficult to capture a smooth yet loose look, because she doesn't really hold the cord. Like she floats it with like telekinesis. I don't, Gachiakuta also challenged my idea of shading too, because I had to stop myself from adding highlights and use shadows instead to make the areas I wanted to pop stand out more. And I didn't even notice how often I added highlights to my other artwork until I realized that there were only simple, darker shadows in all of these references that I've been looking at for the anime, and just that alone makes such a difference. It's genuinely fascinating to me. I'm really grateful for this study and for this anime for coming into my life, because my art will never be the same after this, and I'm one step closer to my definitive look and where I want to be. So if this inspired you in any way and you want to take away anything from this, it's to challenge your own thinking and embrace a new way of doing things. You never know what you'll learn from it, even if you don't end up using those new techniques, even if it's an art style that's completely opposite from yours. There might be something in there that you like, that you take away from it, and that ends up transforming your own art and your own way of doing things from that point forward, And it's only in the mistakes and the failures of stepping out of our comfort zone and doing things different from the way that we've always been doing it that we learn what we need to succeed and get better and improve at the thing that we do like to do, So shatter that idea of perfection when it comes to creating anything. And I know it's hard because I get it. I'm a writer and an artist and a poet. if there is any perfectionism in my head, it's always there. I promise you. The same thing with imposter syndrome. But in art, some of the most imperfect and sloppy pieces feel the most real, and that's why people are so attached to it. That's why people keep coming back to art, and that's why people love art, because it's real, because it's imperfect, because it's sloppy. It's in those sloppy pieces that there's some of the greatest stories, the greatest satisfaction, the most inspiration. So not everything has to be rounded off or complete or matching or perfectly aligned. But you can very well do that if that's your style and your preferred look. But just remember that you're not limited to that at all, okay? It's just something that I remind myself of too. So I just wanted to share that and keep that in your head for exercises in your future. Before we end off here, I just really want to say thank you so much for chilling with me while I completed this piece. It wasn't intended to be a tutorial, it was more so a speed drawing, and so I didn't go through the step-by-step process of how I drew Aqua, but I very much could on my Patreon if that's desired enough. I have no problem doing that. I love this character and I love drawing her, so I hope that you enjoyed. This is my first time I've ever done anything like this. Even before making a YouTube channel, I've never done a speed drawing before, so I'm very newbie at it. But please like the video if you enjoyed, and tell YouTube that I'm a creator worthy of paying attention to, because I appreciate that. We just became YouTube partner on this channel last week, and I'm so thankful for all of you. Thank you so much to everyone who keeps coming back for more. Thank you to all of the otter pups that have been supporting me since my very first artistic exploration or short or everything. I'm really excited about where I am in my artistic journey right now, and I'm very excited about the things that I have to share with you all and the journey that I'm on, really. So you'll definitely be seeing more of Aqua, as well as the other characters that I have in all of my other stories, and I'm very excited, so stay tuned. Okay, so until next time, my otter pups, remember to stay unique, stay individual, follow your dreams, okay? Keep creating greatness that means something to you and not just everyone else. Create something that means something to you first, to the point where it transcends you and becomes something important to everybody for their own reasons. You matter. You make a difference in the world just by existing here and creating here, and the world needs your creativity now more than ever. So don't be afraid to let your creation bloom, okay? Until the next video, until the next speed drawing, and until the next creation. Have fun, my otter pups. Peace.